Anumita Roy Chowdhury is joining us. She's writer, Executive Director of Research and Advocacy at the Center for Social Science. She's somebody who's worked very intensively on the question of air pollution. And Dr. G.C. Khilnani is also joining us, the chairman of the PSRI Institute for Pulmonary, Critical Care and Sleep Medicine, somebody who's really done a lot of work on the impact. Thank you both so much for joining us, Dr. Khilnani. And I've been venting about air pollution for years and years and years. But if you could just tell us, Dr. Khilnani, for somebody trying to understand what we were talking about, what is it that air pollution actually does to you?
So the air pollution is affecting us in more than one way that we know. And second thing I want to say, no amount of air pollution is safe. If I could talk about the effect of air pollution, these are short-term effects and long-term effects. Short-term effects, we see that, when the air pollution is high during Diwali time, our eyes start smarting, we get sore throat, we get running nose, we become tightness in the chest, there's a shortness of breath also. And whenever you see these days people getting viral fever, which should finish in 3 or 5 days time, the cough is continuing for months together. People getting severe asthma attacks, nebulizations are off and on. These are the lung effects. But there are extra pulmonary, as we call it, effects are also, because the air pollution does not only affect lung, it affects when it goes through the lung, and there are ultrafine particulate which traverses through the lung and goes through all over the body and causes heart attacks, strokes, and variety of cancer. Summarizing it, that we talk about life expectancy as the Chicago study has shown. But our quality of life is also affected in the form of frequent cough, heart attacks, brain attacks. Also the dementia also is caused by that. So the time has come to take cognizance of it and take action. And this is the job of all of us, including the policymakers.
All right. I'm going to come back, Dr. Khilnani, to some of the things that you said. But Anumita, if I could just come to you. It's become clear by now, it's not just a question of Diwali or a question of stubble burning. That toxic smoke hangs not just over Delhi, but over the entire indo-gangetic plain not for a few days or for a few months. It's actually for 2 or 3 months that there's toxic poisonous air hanging over this entire region. It's almost unbreathable air for month after month. There's more to it.
You're very right. And that's the reason today why we are saying that you cannot just do spot fixing. You can't just say, okay, I'm going to look at this particular town and that particular city and solve the problem. Because you're part of the much larger airshed. And the air pollution and air, they're continuously moving across boundary. They don't follow any political and administrative boundary. So therefore, if we have to clean up a local city, then you also have to clean up the larger airshed. In fact, the study that you were just referring to, it kind of shows that today in India, the same study showing that about 22 states in India, they are actually meeting the national ambient air quality standards, and 15 states are not. And out of the 15 states, 8 states are in indo-gangetic plain. And indo-gangetic plain, which is really the crux of the problem because of its inherent advantage, it is landlocked, no natural ventilation, and therefore whatever pollution that is taking place and which is very high, it's all getting trapped in that region. And therefore, all through the year, you do have high level of pollution, but winters are especially a problem because that's the time when the atmospheric ventilation, the natural ventilation process gets hugely constricted. No air, calm winds, nothing to blow away the pollution.
Dr. Khilnani, let me just get into some of that. There's a crisis period, what Anumita was talking about, that period where it is 300 or 400 on the AQI. And that's obviously a severe period and a crisis period, and that's obviously terrible for you. But even in the rest of the time, when you actually think it's fine, the AQI is 150 or 100, and it seems to be okay. You think the air is better, but even in those times, that's not healthy air. That air is still doing damage to you.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So, the PM 2.5 as per the WHO standard is 5 micrograms per meter cube. And what we are talking, the Indian is of course 40, and what we are breathing in average and daily is 126.5 microgram. So it's an average. But it is we all know that even whatever PM 2.5 is a reflection of air pollution, and even the 12 microgram which happens in California during the fire is supposed to be harmful. What I'm trying to say is the amount of air pollution which we considered as okay, we are good at AQI of 120 or even satisfactory. Actually, it is not correct, and that is what the Chicago study has shown and very clearly exemplified, that when you improve the quality, like the China has done from 2013 till now, their life expectancy has increased by 2.2 years.
All right, Anumita, if I could just turn back to you. You've studied this at great length. So what are the sources of the air pollution? Because as you said, it's not spot fixing. It can't just be vehicular pollution inside a city, because vehicular pollution will cause problems inside that city. But air pollution actually hangs over the entire region. So there would be other reasons, there would be other causes that vehicular pollution would be making it worse. But there have to be other reasons why it's happening in fields, in rural parts of Uttar Pradesh or Haryana or other areas.
Absolutely. So in fact, a very interesting assessment has been carried out for indo-gangetic plain by the Committee under Central Pollution Control Board after the NGT had given an order, which shows that you really have diverse sources of pollution across this region. So one, of course, vehicles. But vehicles are just not about cars and two-wheelers. These are also the freight movement, the trucks that are traversing the region. And then you have the industry. Imagine today in India, 70% of industry is small-scale units who will find it very difficult to employ advanced emission control systems. It is also the kind of energy, the fuel that you're using in your industry, in power plant, and yes, all coal-dominated power plants. You also have a lot of waste accumulation that is getting burned, biomass burning. And now that the region is urbanizing, so the construction activities have increased manyfold. But one source that we often not think about when we talk about outdoor air pollution is the contribution from the chulhas of the poor people's home, right? So the household cooking energy, or in the open eateries. In fact, studies have shown they also contribute as much as 25 to 30% of the outdoor air pollution. So it's such a complex mix of pollution across the region that if we have to look for solutions are not a rocket science. Essentially, the solution that we are looking for today is massive energy transition in all sectors, that we have to move towards clean fuel, which is gas or electricity. You have to go for massive mobility transition so that this whole automobile boom that is happening today, you contain that with public transport, walking, cycling, the public transport integration.
So, frankly, a lot of those things that you were speaking about will take time to implement, right? So the immediate crisis that people are looking at, the immediate crisis that we are facing next month and the month after that. Now, what can be done about that? Okay, now we've seen, for example, crackers are going to be banned in cities like Delhi, stubble burning. We've been talking about solutions. Hopefully, we will move towards solutions in a serious way this year. But what are some of the other things that can actually be done really quickly that can have an impact this year or next year?
So for that, we need to look at more locally. And if we look at Delhi today, for instance, and if we have to prepare for the coming winter, and therefore what we can do. So yes, certainly, and that the biomass burning will have to be controlled. Second, today in a city like Delhi, 30% of Delhi is outside the municipal collection of waste. So we have to ensure that we're integrating the informal waste collection with the municipal waste collection. You need for sectorally, we have to see that what are the possible steps. In Delhi NCR, natural gas has arrived at the doorstep of the industry, but its uptake is very poor because the pricing is not working out. So government needs to step in right away and ensure that the gas pricing is cheaper than the coal.
All right, Dr. Khilnani, let me come back to you while all of us wait with infinite and persistent patience that at some point all of this will get cleaned up. At some point, we'll be able to breathe, we'll be able to walk, we'll be able to, somehow survive in the winter months. What is it that, to your mind, individuals can do? Because I'm sure individuals keep coming to you. They are concerned. They're seeing these reports. Are you having people coming to you to say, we are worried, we're really worried about the fact that we've got this persistent cough, we've got this child who's got asthma, people who are living, for example, in the NCR feel that there's this cough that lasts with you for month after month, week after week. What is it, in your view, that individuals who are listening to this can do? Air purifiers, I guess, that's one of the things we hear about. Masking. What should they actually do? Are these the solutions?
First message is don't go for early morning walk when the air pollution is hazardous or bad. Second thing is I want to say that air purifiers have no scientifically proved benefit. If somebody thinks that he is keeping an air purifier in his room and he is breathing good air, that is absolutely not correct. If he thinks that his breathing is going to be better, it is absolutely not correct. The meeting that I attended in Geneva was the experts, they clearly dumped air purifiers. Who should use the air purifier? Those who are on oxygen because of the chronic heart or the lung disease, those who are severely incapacitated with chronic obstructive lung disease, they can use air purifier, but the precondition is that air purifier should be of good quality, which has a absorbent as well as adsorbent, which absorbs the gases also. The room has to be air conditioned and completely sealed. If the room, if you keep opening the door for tea and coffee, it totally nullifies. The third thing is the use of mask, which is actually called respirator also. The mask also has close to zero value. And if somebody thinks that the air quality is bad and is using a mask and going for a walk, God forbid, don't do that. You are not getting any benefit. All may sound depressing. And actually it is very depressing, but one has to understand the limitations. Whenever the air quality is extremely bad, the susceptible people, that is elderly and those with heart and lung disease, must not go to the crowded places, must not go to the market, just stay indoor till the time. If you want to go for a walk during the bad air quality, go when the sunshine is there, when there's an inversion of air pollutants, when the air pollutants go up, then the air is relatively better at the breathable space. I know it cannot be done by the people who are going to work, but those who are retired and more susceptible, they should actually go to for walk when the sun is bright.
All right. Well, Dr. Khilnani, that was somewhat depressing, because if even masks don't help you, air purifiers don't help you, then really somehow we have to find a macro solution, because, and that's frankly the reason we are doing this program, because answers have to be found. An air pollution season is coming, and we need to start worrying about how we can protect ourselves, start campaigning for real change, because if you're losing 12 years of your life, that's not acceptable. That's a lot of time. That's a lot of years of your life, and you could actually be doing something else. So let's hope that solutions are actually found to this. Anumita Chowdhury, Dr. Khilnani, thank you so much for joining us.